My friend is charging a fee to attend her wedding. What is happening? Hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jamie. I'm your online wedding planner, and today we're going to talk about this sneaky little Reddit post because I have thoughts and feelings on it. But hello, if you're new here, I give out wedding planning advice and tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And then a couple months ago, someone was like, you should talk about some of these Reddit threads. And I did, and y'all really liked them. So batten down the hatches, folks, because today we are unpacking a doozy. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read the post first, and then we're gonna talk about it. Very complicated procedure. As the title says, one of my closest friends is getting married and is charging her guests to attend the wedding. I always knew she was cheap, so in one way I'm not surprised. But this is really not the norm in the country I live in, although it seems like 90s kids like me have started to charge for their weddings more and more, which is just embarrassing. To make it easier to understand, this is what they're charging for. When you RSVP, you have three options. 1, I will attend the wedding, envelope fee, $65. 2, I will only attend the ceremony, or 3, I will not be able to attend. It doesn't even say what the fee is for, but after Googling it, says it includes food, music, decorations, and venue. So they literally want their guests to pay for decorations. The evening before the wedding, they also have a dinner, which you need to pay for, don't remember the price, but cheaper than attending the wedding. If you want to sleep over at the venue, you need to pay around $100. I'm not in the US, so the conversion is not entirely accurate. This applies both for the night between the pre-dinner and the wedding day, and the night after the wedding, so that would be $200 in total. I guess these prices are more okay since nobody is forcing you to attend that dinner and or sleeping over. But if I'm invited to a wedding, I shouldn't have to pay to attend the actual wedding. On top of that, they have a page where you can choose to contribute money towards a gift. You have different options like a cooking class, dance class, trip, etc. It says, gifts are not needed but welcome. But who would pay for a gift after they have to pay to attend the wedding? Since it's not the norm to give a gift, I think many people are going to feel forced to give one anyway. In my country, we're all about politeness and not causing a bad atmosphere, as we call it. If a guest were to attend every single thing and contribute with money to a gift, it would cost at least $300. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but where I live, that's a lot to pay to be a guest at somebody's wedding. And on top of that, you have to pay for a dress and shoes if you don't already have some, so it could be even closer to $400+. The thing is, I know they have money. Oh, that gets awkward. My friend inherited a lot of money from her grandma in advance. They have a house. Her fiance is an engineer. They have a boat. They are currently renovating their house. I also suspect that they can afford both the renovation and the wedding, but are probably just trying to play it smart and make the guests contribute because, as I said, I've always known she's cheap. And I'm also questioning if their gift solution will actually go to said gift or if it's just another contribution to more renovations of their house. She also has told me that it is her goal to be rich. I mean, you gotta have goals, right? It's just unfortunate because we've been friends for 12 years, and it's sad to only be able to attend the ceremony because they absolutely refuse to pay. Then there's update. People have been asking how it will turn out, if my friend will reconsider the fee, etc. The fee is still the same, but I noticed they changed from $100 to $98 if you want to stay over. Haha. They're also now mentioning the fee on the website, so it's not only stated on the page where you RSVP like it was before. I will let you know if there are any more updates. Okay, so my immediate thoughts. People have very different relationships with money, okay? This bride clearly has no problem, right? Being full out, like, I'm cheap, I will ask you for money. Perhaps even to the point of being like emotionally disconnected from it, based on the vibes I'm getting here. It doesn't sound like they are necessarily like out to get all the money. They're not trying to scam everyone. They're thinking in their logical headspace of like, weddings cost a lot of money. Why don't we have people just pay for that so it'll offset that cost, and not taking into account the etiquette or the emotions behind it that other people might be experiencing. In fact, y'all know who Alex Hormozy is? You know, Mosey Nation? Mosey Nation? Mosey Nation, that's what it is. Anywho, he's this like business guru guy that does business guru things. And he literally had a clip with his wife where he was talking about how like he wanted to charge for their wedding. And for him, he's like, it just makes sense. Like, I know we have money, but like, why are we paying for all this and then having them get us a gift? Like, why not just have them pay to be at the wedding and then like, we're all good, we're done. And his wife was, I think she literally like rolled her eyes. This is just how some people think. Does it make it, you know, socially acceptable or culturally appropriate? No. Has anyone told them that? Has anyone said like, hey, this isn't normal, right? Have you spoken about your frustration? Have you talked to your friend about that? And this might be an unpopular opinion, but like clearly they don't see an issue asking for it, whether it's a social faux pas or not. To them, it's fine. Now, if you see some sort of like deep-seated malintent, like they're trying to get everybody's money, like that's different, right? So it all depends on the vibes of what you're picking up here. Right now, it sounds like they're just thinking with their logical brain. Yes, they have money, but like, why should they spend more? It's totally fine. If you want to show up, just pay $65 and everything will be good, right? However, with all that being said, I personally find this extremely tacky. Really and truly. Because there is a lot of etiquette when it comes to wedding planning and when it comes to hosting an event like this. And I think it's really important to be aware of the cultural norms, to be aware of the etiquette surrounding weddings, and that's why I like to make videos like this. Because one, let's give the the couple in this situation the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just are unfeeling when it comes to money, and it doesn't bother them to ask for stuff like this. We had a friend growing up that my parents always said that she had the gift of ask. She had no problem just asking for like the most ridiculous things, and you'd be like, oh, no, I'm not doing that, and she'd be like, okay, like, hey, can you go? Would you mind now being the person to pick up my kids from school every day? No, I will not be doing that. Oh, okay. Just figured I'd ask. And you're like, how did you think that was socially appropriate to ask that question? That's not the case. I'm picking up on those vibes here. Okay. But someone still has to say something. No, this is awkward. You shouldn't be doing this. And I wonder if anybody has. I hope somebody has. So as much as I love Mosey Nation and the hustle and like trying to be smart with your money, I don't love this idea / trend / what dear God, I hope it's not a trend. So real quick check-in before we go any further and before I read the comments on this. Is this normal where you are from? Because like it is so not normal to me, and I get that etiquette is different and cultures are different from place to place, but I've never heard of this being like a normal thing to do. All right, let's jump in the comments. Then the $65 is the wedding gift. Well, and that's the part that like they said you don't have to. They just threw experiences up there. And, okay, I'm also glad that this part came up. Being frustrated and saying, like, is this money even going to go towards the gift that we're paying for? Probably. Maybe. Because I want to go back to the part where OP was talking about how, is this money even going to be going towards the gift that you say it's going towards? There's a chance that it's not. We did a honeymoon registry for our wedding, and then afterwards we didn't have enough to actually go on the honeymoon, and we were so broke that we had to use that for bills. So did I feel the need that I had to go around and tell everybody like, hey, we didn't actually get to use it for that cause that you wanted us to use it for because finances got real tight, and it didn't end up working out, which was sad. But like, also, if people are giving a gift, the hope is that it goes towards something like that, right? Like they hope that they could pay for a dinner while you're out on your honeymoon, but sometimes life happens. And they also very specifically said like, no gift is necessary, but if you want to, here are some options for you. Because there are those couples that truly feel like we don't need anything. So if you want, like I'll throw something up there because a lot of people will want to contribute and will want to do something like this. I love gift giving personally. This would be something I'd be like, hey, where's your registry? And they're like, oh, we don't need anything. I'm like, oh, can I get you something anyways? I mean, maybe not in this situation if they're trying to charge for it. But they already made it clear that that's like not necessary. And they also made it clear that it's necessary that you pay for your seat there. Okay. Exactly. I know people who had a specific dream wedding in mind, but not really the funds. So they basically say you pay for the meal, but then we consider that your wedding gift. And the meal costs what a medium price gift would be, no more. That's fair. This above is not. Where are you from that this is a normal thing? I think it's the honest communication that makes your situation feel way more acceptable. I agree. Like they're being very clear about this. They're not beating around the bush. For a couple I cared about and wanted to celebrate, I'd be more than happy to pay for my own meal in lieu of a gift if it meant they got to have the venue or the photographer of their dreams. Hopefully this occasion only happens once, and how many couples really need housewarming gifts in this age? Most couples have been cohabitating for years already. I'm also down for honeymoon funds in lieu of a gift. Travel on with your bad selves. Keywords in lieu of a gift. Yes, so they said like you don't need to give a gift, right? This is kind of the expectation for weddings here in Ireland. Oh, that's fascinating. We get invited to a wedding, we will give a cash gift which comfortably covers the per head charge the venue would invoice the couple for. Everything else, accommodations, bar tab, travel expenses, is up to us to cover. Actually, now that you're saying it like this, that makes a lot of sense. I interviewed an etiquette expert. Her name's Jamila, and she actually has a YouTube channel with almost 1 million subscribers. And I got to interview her on my podcast. She's so sweet. She mentioned this specifically. So I think there is some cultural norms that kind of speak to this specifically. Basically, the cost of your gift or the cost of your gift money is going to be somewhere near the cost of your seat. Now, I also know a bunch of baddies who are balling on a budget, and this is not the case for them, but that makes sense. This is my experience with weddings in Germany too, but it's not usual the couple set an invoice beforehand. This is a bit tacky in my opinion. Okay, so if we already established this, it's like culturally we already do this, so why are you telling people to do it? You know what I mean? Like they would have given you money and you didn't have to ask for it. But again, I think we're dealing with someone who's pretty logical and just straightforward. Like, hey, if you don't have it, you don't have to pay, you don't have to come. But like we would like people to pay for their seats. And just not understanding the norms, the societal norms that are happening here. Because this person put it perfectly. Yes, this is my experience, but nobody talks about it. We're not supposed to talk about it, okay? We're supposed to like let it happen. And the fact that they're talking about it makes it tacky. No, it's really not okay to expect your guests to fund your wedding. Have the wedding you can afford. Invite guests because you want them to be there when you pledge a lifetime of love to your partner, not because they will help you fund a party you can't afford. I am in total agreement. Have the wedding you can afford or save up until you can. I am not paying for your decorations or your venue. You picked it, you pay for it. Yeah, dude, with this kind of, social setup here, asking them to pay for their seats, do they then get to have an opinion? Right? They're like, hey, I'm helping fund this party. So I decided that you should do blue instead of purple. At what point? Like, where do we draw that line, right? I hate the cover the plate attitude. I love to be generous, but I've not always been in a position to do so. This is very fair. People should be invited to a wedding because they're important to you and you want them to celebrate that day with you. Any gift should be accepted graciously. This is huge. I used to wait tables full time, so when attending a wedding, I was often losing a huge chunk of my weekly income if it was a Saturday. So I was already coming in with several $100s loss. It was important to me to attend weddings for close friends, and when I've been invited to weddings where I'm not as close to the bride or groom, I usually decline and send a small cash gift. Does current etiquette consider this fair? Because it is shameful and cheap where I come from. Don't serve a meal you can't pay for, and quit trying to out-Instagram one another with unaffordable options. Ooh. Ask her if you cannot pay but still come to the reception if you bring your own dinner and promise not to look at any of the decorations. That should be fair, right? This is... Someone else said, and bring earplugs so as to not hear the music. Okay, in the defense of the couple in this situation, the OP Googled this and said that was what the cost would be covering. That's not what the couple said the cost would be covering, right? I mean, $65 per plate per person, is not outrageous for a more inclusive catering experience. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that you're helping fund the centerpieces or that you're helping to, pay for the DJ. That is not what is happening here, right? Paying to stay at the venue is fine. That's optional. My venue charged me based on how many people stayed, so I gave my guests that as an option. But paying for your meal and the ambiance is nuts. Okay, again, OP is the one who Googled this. The couple's not asking them to pay for the ambiance. I would decline immediately and without sending a gift. Miss Manners would need her smelling salts. Where I'm from, Quebec, Canada, it's becoming a bit more common to charge guests. I've seen it happen a few times myself, with one bride offering to split the amount into a few e-transfer payments. Well, that's sweet. Gifts are also usually expected. Always found it super tacky. If you can't afford a lavish wedding, then don't have one. My husband and I got married last summer, and it literally cost me more to attend my sister's wedding as her maid of honor last fall than I spent in total on my own wedding. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I was going to reply that this isn't unheard of in Quebec. I also recently spent more on being a maid of honor than being a bride. It really bothered me. And there's a couple other people talking about doing weddings in the Eastern European way where guests would just give a card with money. So it sounds like, listen, we would have given you money anyways, but the fact that you asked for it made it weird. Wow, this is wild. In Chinese culture, folks are expected to provide a red envelope as a gift to the newlyweds as a part of the tradition. Usually, the red envelopes are used to cover their seat at the banquet, but there is no set minimum. You can pay however much you want, depending on how close you are to the bride or groom. Technically, this is not mandatory, but it is expected. But to actually demand money before the wedding, especially when they inherited money and want others to fund their dream wedding, wow. Yeah, let's pause on that for just a sec, because the inheritance, I don't know how this affects it. Right? Because we know how much it is. What was it? What was $5,000? So they have a boat. So they're doing renovation. Is it a nice boat? Is it an expensive boat? Are they doing the renovations themselves? There's a lot of factors here where it's unless you're asking to see their personal bank account, none of that really matters, right? You can either choose to say, hey, I find this tacky. I'll pay for it anyways, but ick. Or, hey, I find this tacky and I'm not going. Or, you know what? I'm just going to pay the money and go. What happens in their accounting books does not affect me, okay? You can choose to either pay this fund or not, calling into question whatever inheritance there is or whatever vehicles they own or whatever they're doing to their home, in my opinion, are less relevant to the conversation that we're having here because we just don't know. We don't know behind the scenes. We don't know what their finances look like. And to presume otherwise based on what you see from the outside, there's a phrase from the Bible that says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I could be, I'm paraphrasing it, but basically hey, they ask for money, you can say yes or you can say no. We don't need to be but you have that. But you could do that. But look at all the money you got over there. But hey, you have a boat, so you shouldn't be charging me. What? When you smush those phrases together, it doesn't make as much sense, right? Well, because you have a boat, you can't charge me for your wedding. Just let your yes be yes or your no be no. If you don't want to do it, don't go. I mean, mad props to the couple for just saying what it is. It's tacky, right? But they're upfront about it. I don't think they should be doing it personally. I don't agree with this trend. Culturally, I agree with a lot of the comments here on this post of just being just let people pay what they want to pay, what they can afford to pay, and don't ask for a specific amount. That's where it gets weird. And society is weird like that. But really and truly, that's where this gets weird. So regardless of their financial background, whether you agree with it or know it or like it or not, doesn't change the fact that this is, something that you find tacky. So you just got to decide what you're going to do with that. How about you? If someone in your life was to charge you to attend their wedding, would you do it? I guess it kind of matters who it is. I think I personally kind of fall into the camp of I will give you a cash gift, but don't tell me how much to give you because that's where I get uncomfortable. So I agree with a lot of the posters here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, it's so fun making these videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, jump on down there, hit that like button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride, and occasionally unpacking some really tacky wedding behavior. And until next time, bye guys!